Hello, hello.
Hi. So good to see you.
It's good to see you. Thanks,
Yeah.
Rheanna, and
hmm
everybody for being here. The ones who are watching live, the ones who are watching the replay, hello. Um, so, this is an Instagram live about the experience of Bwiti Missoko initiation from a woman's perspective, and the woman that we're talking to is Rheanna. So, thank you, Rheanna, for being here
hmm
and
Yeah,
sharing
happy
the
to be here.
experience.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so let's just dive in. And maybe I can start just by sharing a little bit about you, and you can share more whatever you think people need to know, but they're about to find out a lot more, I guess. Um, so Rihanna is a somatic psychedelic nurse and relationship and intimacy coach based in Boulder, Colorado. She provides trauma-informed shamanic talk and touch-based work for individuals and couples, emphasizing nervous system and group field intelligence. And in all of this, you also did Bwiti initiation. Yeah.
Yeah, in some ways, in some ways, it has deeply informed. In many ways, it's deeply informed the work that I do. So it's like in all of this, also, I did Bwiti initiation, and the Bwiti initiation itself initiated me into layers of my being and my work in the world that were unexpected. And
Mm,
yeah, I look forward to talking about them today with you.
cool.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
maybe you want to start just by letting us know, like, why did you want to do initiation? There are so many different ways to grow, to heal, to transform, to access yourself. Why this?
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, so for me, for many years as a Tibetan Buddhist, I did not engage in medicine work. The emphasis in the tradition that I came from was to sit on the cushion and look at one's mind and one's heart, and and then to let that be the path that you journey on, to not engage external stimuli in order to look at your mind, and in order to sort of like discover who you are. And when I did return to a path of psychedelics that was from the lens and through the pathway of ceremonial medicine and ritual medicine, it was deeply important to me, similar to my Buddhist path, that I went to traditions that had been holding the medicine themselves, and when I could, to go to the land where that medicine had been held, so that what I was weaving with was not just the material substance of the medicine, but also the deeply embedded systems in which that medicine had arose and evolved right alongside human consciousness. I met you through ISTA, and your presence and capacities and this kind of like way that love flowed through you was impactful to me and inspiring. And when I, like, as someone who has experienced addiction through her life and in her family, iboga is like one of the most masterful plants on the planet, along with ayahuasca and a couple of others. But iboga has had this kind of like reputation in my own life of being incredibly transformative. And so combining meeting you, my respect of medicine and where it comes from on the planet and the people that hold it, as well as like iboga itself, drew me into the Bwiti initiation. And then the last thing I would say in this like vein of things is that what I became really moved by and uh, impacted by is that this is not an iboga initiation. This was a Bwiti initiation, and
Yeah.
iboga was one of the technologies used in order to introduce me to Bwiti, in order to introduce me to my own self, in order to introduce me to reality. Um, And so all of that was like, oh, the only place I'm going for that is Gabon and with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'd love to hear more about what the technologies were,
Mm. Mhm,
that
mhm.
but can you say a little bit more about what you were hoping initiation might do for you? Because it's a long
Yeah.
way to go.
Yeah. Oh, I had big stories. I had big stories about, I didn't fully understand what it meant to be in a Bwiti initiation, I was holding iboga as the like primary doorway. And I was holding this notion that what I would walk away with was a relationship or an introduction to iboga, and which is different and like can't really be known until you get there to understand that iboga is a doorway into a vast understanding of spirit and phenomena and cosmic consciousness, and how that's held in Gabon, which is Bwiti. So some of what I was wanting to get out of it was a relationship with iboga, because I understand that medicine to have like deeply penetrative qualities into me. And in that, what I was also hoping to get out of was a deeper understanding of myself, insight into maybe some long-standing patterns that keep me stuck, and kind of no amount of meditation, international, like internal family systems work, shadow work, erotic work, all of the different technologies for me that I have utilized over the years, sex and intimacy coaching, therapy. I just knew that those things that were left over, the big buffaloes, as we talk about in ISTA, like the ones that were the patterns in me that were still left standing, were very, very difficult to move because they had been so deeply worked by all of the work that I have done in my life. And it was like, it
Yeah.
was going to require a big medicine to do something for those patterns. And I couldn't imagine any other plant being except for iboga. Does that answer your question about like what I was hoping to get out of it?
Yeah, yeah. Like, yeah, sometimes the question I ask people is like, when you leave Gabon after initiation, what do you hope that you're taking with you? And what are
Hmm.
you hoping to get behind?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Hmm. I was hoping to take with me a better understanding of myself in the world. I
Mm.
wanted to take with me some more softness and gentleness and slowness about how I engaged decision making. I was existing at a, like when I went there last year, there was a way in which I was experiencing stuckness in different areas of my life. Work, my like soul's calling, relationship pieces, relationship to my family, and I wanted a boga to kind of like put a little bomb in my world, shake things up, and then provide some clarity, about how to proceed. And I recognized that that clarity was going to happen over some period of time that remained in the mystery.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and some of the stuff that I wanted to leave behind in Gabon was rigidity, a kind of speediness or frenetic pace that I could live my life from, and that was then the basis of like how I made different decisions. I wanted to leave with a kind of like sensitivity to the world that didn't mean that I was knocked over by my experience of the world, but like the sensitivity remained while also having some new sense of ground. Yeah.
Mm.
Hmm.
I love that.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think that's where real power comes from when you're
Hmm.
capable of feeling and experiencing and being with whatever is happening now, like not resisting it or numbing out or just contracting or
Yeah.
becoming so huge that you overwhelm everything else, but just
Hmm.
being really, really clear with it all, but
Hmm.
also not flat.
That's right. One of the
Yeah.
words that comes to my mind as you're speaking is simplicity, in the like profound sense of simplicity, like that I could receive the world on the world's terms. I could let it wash through my sense perceptions, my skin, my fascia, my cells, my thoughts, and yeah, and that there was a sense of like steadiness and true power of how I
Mm.
engage the world as a human being. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And the thing about the Bwiti Missoko is like the tradition knows that iboga is super powerful and it can be incredibly useful for everything you've just named. But they don't just leave it at that. It's not like, wow, this medicine's so cool. Let's just eat it and hope that like we get to where we want to get to. it's like been meticulously developed century after century after like millennia,
Yeah.
this science, and
Yeah.
then using sacred wood so that it's like so many different corners of you. Like if there's like one little dusty corner that keeps getting missed with like the therapy, the
Mhm.
retreats, the other plant medicines, the like whatever books you're reading, there's like one shadowy corner that just won't get the light. It's like all these other tools that are used in the initiation are pointing lights like everywhere so that you can get to where you need to go.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you felt that. Like it's not just iboga. There's like so you can't escape basically.
That's that's it. I really loved everything that you just described. It's like there was no hiding.
Yeah.
And every facet of the initiation provided some tool or some headlamp or some torch or fire for me to not be able to hide. And that's everything. That's from like, they say with constellation work and any medicine container, as soon as you say yes, the container begins. And I could feel Bwiti and Iboga and Gabon coming for me for months before I got there. And I
Mm,
feel really grateful that I have some experience with this notion that like as soon as you say yes to something, it's going to be turning toward you. Because some of my experiences, even before I got to Gabon, were like a little bewildering, or there was like intensity that would come for me.
mm, mm-hmm,
I didn't fully understand what was happening at the time, but looking back, I was like, oh, even then, there was less and less opportunity for me to be hiding. Um,
mm,
so everything is a gift. Everything is a part of the medicine received, especially as a Westerner or someone coming from outside of Africa into Gabon. It's the travel, it's the 24 hours of getting there. It's arriving into a country where, at least for me, I don't speak French. So yet again, I'm in a country where I don't speak the language. Um, and then it's arriving into the village and being surrounded by deep conversation, really simple interactions like between the children and the adults, or a conversation between two of the mothers, the divination, the like interacting with you, everything that seems to be outside of the initiation is all woven in and a part of the initiation.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a part of the wisdom of iboga, which is why going to a place where the medicine is held, I think, is so crucial, because otherwise, the transformation gets linked to the medicine itself, and there's not enough coupling or an understanding of in your mind as a Westerner that it's not just the medicine that's happening; it's the entire experience that is the transformation. And I think
Yeah.
without that understanding, it can be kind of like a blast to your system. Like it's a blast to your system anyway to go through the Bwiti initiation, but without it being rooted in the village and the relationships and watching it weave its way through the entire village, it can really blow your nervous system out, and then it's harder to integrate what is it that I received.
Mm, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's true. It's like I hadn't actually thought about it that way, that like all the different mechanisms that are used in the series of rituals,
Yeah.
it's like they're all things that create space for you to receive whatever is happening
Mhm.
so that it's like all channeled through just the iboga. And in fact, in a way, it's like the sacred wood is because it opens your perception so that the things that you couldn't see before now you can see. And that's
Yeah.
usually the problem. Like we're like, how can I not fix this issue with my husband? Like, why do we keep fighting about the same shit all the time? And the answer is there. It's just that we're not seeing it. And then when you're on sacred wood, you're able to see things differently. But yeah, it's like all of these different tools, and some of the other tools are, so there's the people, which is huge because they're people of the land. They're people that have been practicing this tradition for millennia. Their fathers and their mothers, and for generations upon generations. And also, like the land of Gabon is
Mhm.
where it's situated on the equator on the planet. It's got the most amount of sun energy, like in
Mhm.
that band around the planet, than anywhere on the rest of the planet. So you've got so much fire and then so much earth. And the two together, especially when, you know, there's people from there, then there's people walking with fire and earth, and they're talking to you with fire and earth. It's
Wow.
special.
Mm,
And so there's the people in how they embody like everything they've been learning for all this time. There's the music, the specific instruments that are played, which kind of the ceremony can't happen without those instruments,
mm,
including like the mongongo, the one string harp. There's the songs that are sung. There's the different things you're wearing. There's different other medicines that you're eating. There's so many different pieces. There's the rituals of being in different spaces, including the temple and also the forest. Like all of this is combined. And then, like you're saying, it's like it's actually creating more space and more possibility for sacred wood to show you things.
mm,
So
mm.
you're not just in one space where you're just journeying. It's like you're in many, many, many different um, yeah, you're in many places for different possibilities. So yeah, so in that way you really can't escape, because if you're not going to get it here, you're going to get it here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's all of that is so beautifully said and deeply like I'm having memories come back to me as you're speaking. It just really resonates with my experience.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I get you when you say like I didn't really know what it was, Bwiti initiation. Like I didn't know what
Mm,
I knew that I wanted to go, but like what is it really? And honestly, the same for me. Like when I first did, I did Bwiti Fang first, and the Nemo was talking about initiation. We're going to do initiation, and I just like I don't know. It was like a word from another language or something. Like I
mm,
couldn't. What is that? Um, but it's also one of the beauties. It's like, and there's not there's certain things that can be shared about it, like we're sharing in this conversation, and then there's certain things that cannot be shared only with people who are initiated. Um, but it's a surprise. Like life is a surprise. You know, like if you imagine being a little baby being born, it's like I have no idea what's going to happen, but let's do this. Um, and I wonder, can you tell us a little bit about what surprised you in the
mhm,
process?
mm. I think the first thing that I want to say is this notion of initiation is really significant. And
Mm,
if, you know, someone's watching this and they're thinking about this initiation and engaging in this medicine, I had to go through my own process of like, what does it mean as a outside foreigner to be initiated into a tradition that is not my culture and it's not what I come from? Am I showing up to this lineage, to this culture, to this tradition in a way that has integrity for myself and for it? Like, how can I be in right relationship with like a situation that I might never come back to and have contact with again in the 3D world? It's not my daily life. So how can I like some of it was like, oh, who am I as a Westerner to engage this? Are there parts of me that are appropriating something? Am I going there to like get something or extract something? And I really had to go through my own just contemplation of like what was integrity. What I came to is that, and this is part of what was surprising for me, is like going through that process was also a part of the journey. It was a part of the medicine I received. Um, and what I came to was this real knowing that like humanity is at a profound moment in time. And in the culture, like the tradition, the spiritual traditions that I come from, and in my own experience of being a human moving around the world, um, there is a lot coming to the surface that looks like violence and aggression, and it is in many ways violence and aggression. And where are we going next? What are we doing with everything that is here right now? And how can we do that together? How can we elevate all of us um, so that we're not only focusing on the things that divide us, but like what is the bigger picture of what we're doing here as human beings and what is here to
mm,
actually wake up?
mhm,
And so with that, that became like the foundation on which I decided to go to Gabon and engage in a culture that might not be my own, but it is a wisdom pillar on the planet that is a living thing trying to support humanity and going forward. That they are offering this initiation to people outside of Africa, outside of Gabon, is a profound gift. And I chose to, like, with humility, fortify myself so that I could go there and receive that gift and then go through the journey of seeing how is it that I'm going to apply this to my life on the other side of it. Because I believe that these kinds of medicines and views and understanding of what phenomena is made of is really important to spread. If we stayed siloed, we're going to run out of time as humanity. So that's a little bit about my intention and also part of what was surprising to me. And
Mm.
then, yeah, and then to say more about what was surprising to me was uh, I have traveled a lot. Like, I've traveled a fair bit to a fair number of countries. I have often been alone. I have almost always not spoken the language. I have some grit inside of me, and I can, like, be uncomfortable in physically arduous, uncomfortable situations. And there was some powerful thing about being in Gabon, about being in the beauty of the, like, nuanced relationships, and then the specific exercises and moments of the initiation that we went through in the initiation container itself that really humbled me. And I felt so appreciative that the identities that I had around, like, I can be with uncomfortable environments got to be shed. It was wonderful.
Mm.
Um, Another thing that surprised me is the music. Like, the mongongo that is there, I don't think I've ever experienced. Like, I know music as a carrier. As a psychedelic nurse, I understand music as a carrier for medicine. And I have just never received the transmission of what live music, what a live ancient instrument can do to consciousness. And it became like the boat that I was ferried in throughout my time. Maybe I'll land there for those few things that surprised me and just go from there.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I love how you're saying that. And yeah, the mongongo, we can name it as an instrument, we can call it music, but it's
Mm,
actually a
mm,
spiritual.
yeah,
It is a boat, like you describe.
yeah.
And so, yeah, it's not just
Mhm,
like
mhm.
atmospheric or aesthetic or nice, like
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
fun. Yeah.
Yes. Tool is a
Yeah.
perfect word. And actually music is actually not quite the word. It's like a that's evidence of, like, lack of language that I hold.
It,
It's like
I
sound
call it music.
consciousness,
Right.
and it
Yeah.
just, like, penetrates in a way that I still don't quite know how to describe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I describe it the same. I'm like, yeah, we sing and there's music. But
Mhm,
it's like, sing and
mm.
there's music like in the choir at school too. And it's not the same?
It's not the
So
same.
yeah, so it's hard. It's like, the word love. It's like
Yeah.
I love baked beans and I also love my child. It's like, yeah, so music, singing, but
Mhm.
in this context, it's like a special spiritual tool to take you somewhere. So I totally feel you when you say that. And I also love what you say about being able to, like, is it, or tell me if I'm right, it's like staying present and okay in really tough situations. Is that what you were saying? Like that you found that you could actually do that?
I found that I could actually do that, but through the process of, like, speaking of not being able to hide, having to confront, getting the opportunity to confront and be with all of the ways that I wasn't able to find my seat in the discomfort. I mean, you remember, like, I cracked on a number of occasions because I just met my edge. And
Yeah.
even though I consciously understood that that is literally what I came there for, like I came there to meet my edge, um, I understood the intelligence of Bwiti, of all of the systems involved, all of the people that supported the initiation, the entire village, and also the sacred wood itself. Consciously, I understood that it was like threading the tiniest needles in my consciousness over and over again so that I could hear, so that I could see, so that I could feel, even though I knew that that is what I was there for, was that whatever was here that had not been worked was going to be penetrated. And that meant it was going to be pretty intense for me because so much of my evolution I have like leaned into.
Mm-hmm.
It still shocked the heck out of me. And so
Yeah.
like that's how I came to being able to like hold my seat, is that I couldn't hold my seat,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That again and again and again, physically exhausted, annoyed, overwhelmed, like my sense perceptions, all of the parts of me that are like, I'm an introvert. 24, 24 hours into the initiation, I was like, oh, I'm not going to be alone ever for 1 second for the whole thing. So every step along the way was like the perfect medicine, totally surprising and exactly what I needed. And
Mm.
I could never have created it, of course, out of my own mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened when you met those edges? Like, were you just a puddle and then that's it? Or what happened next?
Mhm. Mhm. Yes to moments of being a puddle. uh mm, I was really grateful for my years of meditation because sometimes I could feel the edges coming and I could like touch into my own nervous system and sensory perceptions in my body. And I'm like, oh, this is me reaching my edge. It's coming for me. And then I could use the tools that I had previously established in my life to like, okay, I'm going to soften around it. I'm going to drop my shoulders. I'm going to take a deep belly breath. I'm going to look at beauty that's around me. I'm going to, whatever those tools were that I had coming into the Bwiti initiation, I employed them. And then,
Mm-hmm.
of course, at some point, everything that you are is exhausted and depleted in the best possible way. So, at some point, all of the tools that I had available to me, which until that initiation were very vast and deep and effective, they also abandoned me. And I, again and again and again, was just left there with myself and my experience and you and all of the activity that was happening around me. So what that meant is that first I became a puddle. I cried. I got irritated. Um, I thought over and over again, what have I gotten myself into? Did I really choose this? Did I ask, am I paying for this? I'm paying for this. I flew on to the other side of the world to experience this level of like intensity. And then I realized that everything I brought into the initiation and the ceremony was no longer the only thing available to me. And I literally turned to the forest. I turned to Bwiti. I turned to the sacred wood and prayed and surrendered. And it's like when I gave up, then the puddles and the crying and the irritation and the aggravation and all of the overwhelm in my body also left. And I was just left with me, like literally left with just me in a way that I have almost never experienced. So simple. And And I was left with like a complete body experience of I exist in a web, and that web has me. The grandmothers have me, Bwiti has me, the sacred wood has me. I'm here for this. Yeah, so what was
Hmm.
on the other side of all of the discomfort was like exactly what I longed for in my life and so much more,
Mm-hmm.
which is like
Yeah.
I can be here right here. And it's so quiet and still and personal. It's indescribable.
Yeah.
And buzzing with the power of, you know, existence. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm. I feel like what you're describing in a way is maybe what people experience after, meditating 10 days, 10 years in the
Mm,
cave and
hmm.
finding like
Yeah.
connection to all, deep presence in myself, capacity to meet whatever is here now, and it's okay. And yeah. And it's not just given to you on a silver platter, just like the person who's meditating in the cave. Like they have to spend 10 years doing that shit. That's like it's work. And the Bwiti Missoko is going to make you work to get it. Yeah. And it's like it's not just the discomfort, it's meeting all the things inside that don't want that, the things that feel afraid of it, the
Mhm.
parts that have really been harmed by things that genuinely
Mm,
like don't
mm,
want to be with people, don't trust people, don't
mm,
feel capable. Like, those are real things that we've experienced.
mm.
But this is like reconnecting us with the true capacity of who you are, really, which
Really.
is not they're
Which is
they're
not,
experience,
yeah.
but who are you really? Yeah.
Mm, mm,
Cool. So it sounds like
mm,
something shifted for you. Can you tell us more about,
mhm.
yeah, like during the initiation, you've described a little bit what happened, and then if there's more there, but also like how you noticed yourself like after as well. And if there's anything in your life that reflects back like, oh, this is a bit different now.
Mhm. So the first thing that comes to my mind is like, it took months. It's like, there's one of the things that I understand about sacred wood is like, there's like a 6 month mark on the other side of initiation where maybe some threads have started to come through more clearly, or there's like you can kind of look around your life and see impact, and then there's like the 2 year mark and etc. I think like the Bwiti initiation was really the first initiation where I realized like these things take time uh, to really see what the impact has been, and at the same time like I got back from Gabon, and there was like this, yeah, I kind of said it earlier, it's like this still quiet pulsing evenness, steadiness, and my brain felt different, like
Mm,
how I slept felt different.
mm-hmm.
I felt sometimes, like especially at the beginning, I felt simultaneously like it was hard for me to connect to people when I got home, but also there was something in my heart that was just like, if I let myself let go of the idea that, oh, I'm having a hard time connecting with people, I went through this thing, they haven't experienced it, how do I find words? If I just kind of let that go, what I was left with was something in my heart that felt like available.
Hmm.
Another thing that comes to my mind in terms of the impact is that I think like a couple of weeks after getting back from Gabon, I traveled out of the country, like out of the United States, to two different countries, and I was gone for like a month. And then in that time, I made a decision to go to another container, like a long 6-week mystery school container. And as the months have gone by and I've reflected back on those choices, there's a way in which I would really encourage people who are coming home from this initiation to give themselves time.
Mm.
And it's like all of the meditation retreats I've been in, month-long meditation retreats, they're like, don't make major life decisions within 30 days of coming out of a container. Don't plan to move while you're still in the retreat. And there were decisions that I made that, although like where I'm sitting right now, I can see that they've led me to a place that's like, this is benefiting me.
Mm-hmm.
I would not do that again. I would come home from iboga, from Bwiti in Gabon, and give myself so much more space and time
Mm.
with no
Mm-hmm.
plans and no
Mm-hmm.
big major like life upheavals. Because I think that there's a way, and I only like it's actually one of the lessons that I received from going to Gabon and from being initiated into Bwiti. I would not be where I am now, where I want much more time and space around my containers, had I not had that experience of contrast. I
Mm.
just would want to advise others, like, they don't have to get the medicine in the way that I did. Give
Mm.
yourself some space to receive the really quiet memories and pieces that come through on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like that's part of what I received was that my life is big and beautiful, lots of intensity, and I think Iboga and Bwiti like asked me to slow down and asked me to like be more right here,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
without the big swings of sensation and emotion and events showing me my life, but actually a small walk and standing below a tree, or like listening to the mgongo and letting that like wash back through me. The slowing down
Mm-hmm.
and choosing to kind of be at the pace of life, so that when I do choose intensity and I do choose fire, there's an actual choice where I'm leaning in,
Mm.
which is very different than the way that I did it before.
Mm.
Yeah.
Again, I'm hearing like more present
Mm,
and
mm.
also not held, like coming from a place of more like centeredness in choosing rather than like already in a kind of stream that you're
Yeah.
drawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's well said.
Which
Hmm.
kind of changes everything really.
Say that last part again. It like cut out for a second.
It it changes everything really. Like if you can be present and coming from a place of more like rootedness. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. It changes everything. Like
Mm.
everything.
Mm.
And so in that way, the motivation that someone has to go into this, the intention, the months of like contemplation and prep and feeling and really taking the time beforehand to lean into like, why am I doing this? I think is deeply important. And being willing to know that like it's all gonna melt, and many surprising things are also gonna come through. Like I discovered parts of my motivation during the initiation itself. So it changes everything, including like how your mind literally works.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you were describing before about like not just living life from like being
Mm,
compelled to things
mm,
or like
mm, mm.
be trained. it's like, in a way, I feel like it kind of helps to bring you back to the clarity of yourself. And it's like kind of like cleaning the window pane so that you can actually see the outside world more clearly, but also see yourself more clearly. Like, oh, that's why I'm here. That's what I actually want. And this, so now this is the direction I want to go in, rather than like whole parts of myself or whole truths in myself being in the dark corner
Yeah.
that I'm like always neglecting. And yeah, so it definitely helps for that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I'm so happy
Mm-hmm.
that's your world,
Mm-hmm.
and that you made it that way, you know, your intention and then your action that followed. Yeah. And that's kind of the law, right? It's like where I'm focusing my attention, what I want, and then the action that I bring to it. It's not just like wishing or manifesting or whatever. It's actually like bringing my power. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then the universe can say, "Oh, okay, now I can give you what you're really seeking."
Yes.
Yeah.
One like
I'm curious.
last. Mm.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead. I
Well,
have another question, but tell me.
well, like briefly, one impact that this had on me. So I dislocated my knee 2 years ago, my right knee, and it has caused me like pain. The tendons have been super tight. I couldn't sit on my knees. Um, Lots of limited mobility and just like physical discomfort. And it was suggested that I like offer to iboga to request that it heal me,
Hmm.
and I did. And I'm not exaggerating. Like the beginning of the initiation, I had tightness and pain in my knee. And a week after the initiation, I had full, complete mobility in my knee again for the first time in 2 years. And the
Wow.
pain and the limited, like the contraction around my ligaments, has never come back. So I don't know what to, I hold that like humbly, and but it is a complete fact that I had 2 years of rehab and working with it, um, and it completely went away after Iboga.
Amazing. I'm
Yeah.
so happy to hear that. And yeah, miracles like this, hey?
Mhm,
On
mhm,
the outside.
mhm,
Yeah, so
mhm.
cool. Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm curious what your question was.
I wanted to ask, I mean, so you just sharing about your experience is, you know, a woman's experience of Bwiti Missoko.
Mhm,
But I am also curious to ask you specifically, as a woman, how was it to go through initiation?
mhm,
Especially because initiation's with the women too.
mhm. There are many milestones in my life as a woman in the United States that I didn't know were happening while they were happening. Like my first moon cycle, the first time I had sex, the first time I kissed a boy, like just coming into my own body that had like breasts and hair. The the ways that we have rites of passage in the country that I come from, the United States, are marked by like time, which is different than marking what's actually happening in the human body. So it's
Mm,
like my 16th birthday was like a thing in the culture of the United States. Turning 21 is a thing. Turning 18 is a thing. Turning 13. But it's disconnected from the lived experience that I was having as a girl and then as a woman. And being in the village, I could almost feel it immediately that I was surrounded by adults who had gone through rites of passage and initiations that actually met them where they were and then called them
mm,
into their next like phase or development of their life.
yeah.
It's almost hard to describe what it feels like to be around the adults many of the adults, or the dominant culture that I experience in the US of adults, and then to come to a country or a village where people have actually been called up into adulthood.
Wow.
But it's
Yes.
palpable. And
Yes.
I felt like with all of my insight and wisdom and groundedness and all of the work that I've done in my life, I felt not like a child, but I definitely was like, I'm here to receive. I'm here to listen.
Yeah.
Like some of the children in the village were more adults than me. They were more in their body. They were so simple, so direct, so immediately present. It was no question that I had so much to learn from every cell of that village. So all of that being said, when I was surrounded by a group of like 20, 30 women who carried me through this initiation, and then to be surrounded by all of the women in the village at the end during the dancing, there were parts of me that grew up that would never have grown up into a woman without that. That was not that was not sacred wood doing that. That was like the web of what it is to be an adult woman being transmitted generously, so generous, being transmitted into my system, just like sometimes, by the way, a grandmother would look me in the eye and hold my gaze.
Mm,
I'm used to being someone who can hold presence. And like, I- maybe you can find some words for that experience, Caitlin. Uh, but that, I mean, that's where I would start with. Like, that's what it felt like to be a woman.
yeah.
I grew up like
Mm,
by like I got launched forward in my experience of what it is to be an adult and a woman by being around other adult women. Yeah.
yeah. I love how you're saying that, and because it resonates so much for me as well.
Mm,
But I think for everybody, we understand initiation's often talked about, in the West or in stories that I'd heard before getting initiated. It's the process of going from child to adult. And so children are taken into the forest and then they do some things and then they come back adults. But I never really, knew what that was. And then not realizing that actually you can be 30, you can be 40, you can be 50 and still have those child parts inside that didn't grow up yet. So you're still a child who's now 45.
yes.
And so it's like initiation is the process from child to adult, but it doesn't mean that you have to be physically a child in the process. And and you're right, it's like this. I think this is part of like what we've been saying about the medicine is not just a sacred wood, though the sacred wood helps you to see the
Mm,
things that
mm,
before we couldn't, and to start to embody it. That's like, it opens your chakras, it opens your centers to be able to let in stuff but also let out stuff. um but yeah, it's like it's the people who are like antennas for this frequency of true maturity. Sorry, I've got a mosquito here. um yeah, it's the people
mm,
that hold that purity that then you can start to vibrate with as well. And in
yeah.
that way it's like it is very generous because it's like they're amplifying this frequency that then makes it much easier for you to start to embody that versus like reading the books and doing the therapy with me in my seat, then driving in my car back to my job. Like it's just like in this environment, in this space, it's designed for like deep transformation, and this is, yeah, part of it. And don't we need more
Mm.
adults on the planet, eh?
Oh my gosh.
When you started the call saying like we're making a mess, like we're like it's children running country, it's child parts
Yes.
inside of people, particularly men, but it's the child inside of people that is wounded and not showing up with maturity because it's the child. And so if we can grow up, how we relate in our relationships, how we run countries, how we start the business, how we deal with conflict can be different. So everything changes when we truly grow up with maturity.
Everything changes.
Mm.
Yeah.
So we're going to come to a close shortly, but I'm just wondering if there's anything else you'd like to share with people, especially if there's anyone who is interested in a tradition or sacred wood or getting initiated. Like, yeah, what should people know, or yeah, what would you like to share?
Yeah. I'm very grateful that I chose to go to Gabon for this. Like, as you've heard through this entire interview, it is not just the substance medicine that is the actual transformation. It's the entire context in which one or I placed my mind and my heart and my body. And it is indelible for the rest of my life. It's a fork in the road. There was like before Bwiti and after. Another thing that I would want people to know is that, like, two of the most transformative pieces for me was being with you and Apollon. Like, you and the words that Apollon, the way he speaks. So he transmits wisdom in a number of ways, obviously. And one of the ways that he does that is through the way that he speaks. And he has had some of his phrases are just locked. They're like a part of my cellular structure now. They're a part of my brain and how I move through the world. Um, and I don't think I would have received that kind of transmission in another container, even in Gabon. It was
Mm,
incredibly precious to have a translator like you. It was incredibly precious to meet and to be with Apollon.
yeah.
And yeah, the choice that one makes about where one goes for this particular initiation is really important. And I just like deeply recommend that people take their time to really feel into what's true for them. And I deeply recommend doing it with you. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
thanks.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, yeah, it's true. The tradition is okay. Sacred wood is amazing. Many people are aware of this. The tradition is amazing, and more people are aware of this, especially when once you've been initiated. But Apollon, who's our mentor in the Bwiti, and he's like the primary bridge really between
Yeah.
like us West and this tradition. Without him, the initiation can still happen, but it's like the translation, and I mean translation at like a level of like my heart and soul get it, not just like I
Yes.
understood the word toilets over there and walk here now. It's like helping the switch to flip on the inside, and this is what he helps to facilitate. And yeah, and I think he is actually one of like the secret kind of
Mm.
element of the process where it's like it's not like advertised or something, but in fact his role in it is actually so profound.
Mm.
um yeah, and then it's not just like what happens in the initiation, because these things click, like the switch flips, and now we're walking with this flipped switch, and the word, the frequency of what it was when it was said, and then what that changed, that's still like in each step after. And I'm hearing that when you're saying that, it's like
Mm.
now it's like it wasn't just like a inspiring speech I heard. It was like something that became part of the echo inside of me. Yeah.
Every every story that he shares is intentional. And it
Mm-hmm.
can sound like whatever it can sound like. It can sound like he's telling you about the plot of a movie that he saw. But if you listen, the whole the whole path is there. And then, just like you said, when I remember a certain moment, it is completely accompanied by the seeds that Apollon planted with his words. And so then the bridge is like always available to me. That
Mm-hmm.
translation on that soul level is always available to me because he was with me almost the entire way through. He stays with the initiates. Um, and so then like he would say a word in a certain moment, and I I could just feel that a whole life lesson was landing for me. So when I look back on that moment of some whiff of smoke that went by me in a moment, or a sound that happened, it's coupled completely with Apollon's words. And so then that seed never leaves me.
Mm-hmm.
There's no separation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Ah, Rheanna, wow, good
Mm.
conversation. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And
Really. Mm.
I'm so happy to hear how it's landed. Like, yeah, just what kind of impact it's had in your life and how you're walking now. So I'm just really happy about that. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you so much for this time and this opportunity. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm very happy to answer any questions or share more of my experience. And yeah, I look forward to connecting again. Thank you.
Yeah. That's an amazing invitation, actually. So yeah, if because it's great to like also people can talk to me as well, but if they can talk to someone who's been through it, like that's so helpful. So yeah, definitely take Rihanna up on that. And if you do want to do initiation this year, the groups are very small. So, and already some of them are full. So if you want to get initiated, if you're watching this and it's like resonating, you're feeling called for it, book a call with me and we can talk about the Bwiti Fang or Bwiti Missoko because there's two different branches, two different doors to the same Bwiti
Mm,
house,
mhm,
but they are different doors. And depending on what you're coming for, you might feel one is more appropriate than the other, but it's the same house. Um, and yeah, so we can have a call. I can send you more info, but do it soon because yeah, it's all happening quite soon, and the groups are small. So Rheanna, thank you
mm,
so much, and I look forward to the next time that we talk. Maybe
mhm,
even down to the Bwiti and Gabon together. And yeah,
mm.
blessings.
Blessings and passe.
Basi.
Mm. Bye, everyone.